This video, I'm going to show you how to start a YouTube channel as a beginner. I'm going to show you step by step. And the only tool you need is this. That's the only tool you need. All you need is a phone, whether it be an Android, whether it be an iPhone, whatever it is. I got a camera. It's got a camera in the front or the back. I just need you to just have one of these. And if you don't have one of these, you can use a tablet. You can use a webcam, whatever you got. I just need you to just have a camera. So what we're going to do is you already have a YouTube channel created. That's assuming that you have a YouTube account. If not, you can go to Google, create a Gmail, and then you can go ahead and go through that process. I'm not going to go through all those steps. I want to talk about more so on the recording aspect and how we can just kind of just lock in and make these videos. I don't want to waste your time. We're not going to do any crazy edits or anything like that. I just want to talk about the most important parts. Once you create that page, then there's not going to be any edits or anything like that. I want to just talk to y'all, straight up. I had a live stream the other day, and this inspired me. I had created videos on how to, create content with the phone before, but it was a little too in depth, but I want to just kind of make it simple. And I want to show you easy ways on how to get started. I don't want to waste your time. Let's jump in. So boom, you got your phone. The first thing you want to do is go into your phone. And I know you're pretty familiar. If not, dive into the camera settings, and I want you to get the highest quality. If you want to use your rear facing camera, you want to use your front facing camera, whatever it is that you want to use, I prefer to use the front facing camera. The reason being is because I can see myself. Obviously, we're not going to look at ourselves the whole time. We want to stare at the lens, but I like to be able to make sure I'm centered. I want to check the lighting and stuff like that. There's some tools and stuff like that you can buy on Amazon, but I don't want to jump into that. I want you just to use what you got. And is this, you need your phone and you need a cable to charge your phone. You got that all in the box. If not, you can use other ways like your wireless charge, whatever. But I don't want to get into the weeds, but I want to make it simple for y'all. You're going to open your camera. Once you open your camera, go to settings. You want to make sure it's at 4K or 1080p HD, highest quality, period. Once you do that, I want y'all to grab the camera. You're going to put your phone sideways. If you're doing YouTube shorts, you can put it in portrait, but I want you to put it sideways because that's how we're going to create our content, right? And the trick is, right, you have a lens here. If you're using the front facing camera, I want you just to look at the lens. Once you're in frame, boom. Once I'm in frame, I know I'm good. I ain't got to worry about it because I'm going to hold my hand like this. I'm going to keep it in this position. Obviously, if you need to change angles, that's why I like the front facing camera, because if I need to shift, if I need to move, I can see myself placed directly in the middle. And you also have options to add grid lines. You could use that, completely up to you, but I just want to make this simple. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to press record. We're going to press record. We're going to do a couple of takes, try out how we feel. This is not easy. When I first started creating content, and this is the reason why I'm making this video. When I first started creating content on YouTube, it was not easy. This was tough. It was not the most easiest thing to do, but at the same time, I want y'all to use this simple strategy. I don't want y'all to go crazy. What I want y'all to do is we're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about how it's tough to talk to the camera. We're going to talk about things that, bother you, things that are getting in the way of this content creation process. Those are the things that I talked about. How I was afraid to talk to the camera. I still am, but I practice every day and I'm getting better. And that's the only way. Let me open this window up in here because I want to make sure my light looks good. We're not going to do no edits. So, but nonetheless, you want to talk about, I'll just drop my phone. You want to talk about things, if you have trouble getting started, talk about that. Talk about how it's tough to be consistent on YouTube. You could talk about how, I really don't like talking to the camera. You could talk about, it's so hard to film with the phone. There's so many different things that you can talk about. But what you want to do is once you start doing that, talk about those things. Even if you don't upload this video, I want y'all to get practice looking at the camera, holding the camera like this, and just talking about how you feel. Talk about what's going on in your life. Talk about, you created this video, you worked really hard on it, and it didn't do too well. You want to talk about you could be a reviewer. You bought an iPhone, you bought an Android phone, review the phone. Even though the phone is old, just review the phone, get practice. This is the only way you're going to get better at this is if you practice. I know you're going to hear this all the time. Cheers. If you're drinking coffee or whatever you're drinking, do me a favor while I'm taking this little drink break, drop a like on the video. I appreciate you staying this far in the video. All right. But yeah, as you can tell, I talk a lot, and that's another thing. Use the strong assets that you have. if you talk a lot, if you're a good storyteller, you need to jump in here. But I need you to use this. I need you to use this. This might even be the thumbnail. Hold up, y'all. Quick thumbnail. Boom. You need to use what you have at your strongest assets. If you're good with your hands, if you're good talking about money, if you're good at, working out, you're a trainer, things like that. If you're a beautician, there's so many different things that you could talk about. And all you need is this. If you want to get a tripod, cool. You want to get a mic, cool. You want to just work with what you got. These phones take great pictures, take great videos, and you need those to make thumbnails and videos for your channel. All right, so you're going to do that. Once you do that, you got the YouTube app, you got the YouTube Studio app. You're just going to hit the plus sign at the bottom. Once you finish talking about your video, hold on, let me open up the YouTube app. I'm getting spam calls, forgive me. You're going to go in here. I don't know if I can see that. At the bottom, there's a plus sign. I don't know if I can see that. It's probably not in focus, but y'all see it. Once you open up YouTube, it's right in the middle. You cannot miss it. You're going to hit the plus sign, and then you're going to go to video, and you're just going to go to your photo section, right? Now, in the beginning, I edit videos every now and again, but I'm more comfortable making videos like this where I talk and I don't edit, and just coming up with the title. You're going to say, you're going to say, I'm not sure. You're going to stutter. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen where you're going to stutter. It happens. Don't beat yourself up. You may repeat yourself. I do that. You got to understand, once you take the fact that you're comfortable about how you're doing this, and you are the boss, you are the director, the producer, the cameraman, the lighting guy, the script guy, you do everything. When you're in charge, doesn't matter. You want to you upload it as is. I need you to take your phone, upload it as is. It's going to be tough in the beginning, I know, but I need you to rip the Band-Aid off. If not, do a couple of takes. Do this 5 days straight. Make 5 20 to 15 minute videos. Just put it on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Watch each one individually all the way to the end. Don't delete it. You're going to hold on to it. You're going to keep doing it for 5 days. And I'm telling you, if you do it 5 days straight, on the 6th day, you're going to be like, all right, you know what? And if you still need more time, take your time. This takes time. This craft is not easy. I'm still learning. Even right now, I'm learning. I'm like, yo, I got to start making uncut videos so that way I can get practice and not have this imposter syndrome where I feel like, yo, I got to do all these edits. No, I don't have to do any of that. You can, you don't have to, but this is your studio. You're the director. You decide what happens. All right. So going back in, you're going to upload the video. You're going to go in here. You're going to create a title. You're going to put a description. You're going to use hashtags. You can use hashtags. You can also use tags. If I'm talking about the Osmo Pocket 3, I'm obviously going to use tags that relate to that. Use relatable tags. Use relatable hashtags and tags and titles. You know what I'm saying? If it does take time to get this skill, but just in the moment you want to talk about, let's say, finally got confident to talk in front of the camera, and this is what happened. Easy steps on how I finally, passed this stage right and started talking to the camera. You want to do these things, right? And in essence, right, the goal here is you can have, you can have scripts, you can have bullet points, you can have all these things, but your goal is to have realness. You want to be relatable. You want people to connect with authentic content because you want to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be times where you're going to see videos that are this and that, but what makes it real easy, hold on, let me see if I can get some more light in here because the windows, it's getting kind of dark in here. It's about to rain. But you want to be authentic. People don't want this over, leave that for the big content creators. You want to be able to connect. I want to get as much light here as possible. But you want to be able to connect with people. You want to be yourself. You can be yourself every single day because that's who you are. That's not going to change. You want to provide some value. You want to give some informational value. If you know how to cook, you know how to do hair, you know how to work out, you know how to manage finances, you know how to talk to a camera, you know how to get better. Forgive that truck, man. we're in New York. So listen, if you know how to talk to a camera, you know how to edit, you're great at photography. They want value. They want value. You got to be able to provide value. Another thing, you got to be consistent. I'm not going to tell you to post 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, but you want to create, because once you start building momentum and you're real and you're providing value, people are looking for that next episode. They're looking for you. They're asking for you. They want that value. They want it. It's almost like a Netflix documentary. People like to binge watch. People like to come home from work and say, or come home from a long day, or right before they want to have that show to watch. YouTube is on TVs, is on phones, is on tablets. It's even on refrigerators. It is on everything. So you can connect. It's even in cars. They want to connect with you. They want to have that episode. So, you're gonna build this audience, but with strategy, you're going to continue to build this community. And that takes prioritizing these things I mentioned before, creating content, being consistent, being real, showing up, and that'll potentially gain traction. The reason why I just outlined on how to create this video with your phone, you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it simple. The reason I said you don't need to edit. That's the reason why you should use the highest quality camera lens, whether it's your front or your rear camera. That's not for debate here. Let me put on active track real quick, get myself in focus. You don't want to spend all this time trying to, there we go. You don't want to spend all this time trying to complicate the process. And also forgive me for the lighting, man. Like I said, it's about to start raining. It's really cloudy. But I want to get this video done. I want you to turn on the camera, press record, even if you don't upload. I want you to just do this. You want to use these effective tags. You want to make titles that are actually, relate to the video that you're creating. You want to focus on just being consistent. I know I'm being redundant here, but I want y'all to realize that all you need is this. This is all you need. You only need the phone. You use this phone for everything. This right here is the studio. If your camera has multiple lenses, has a cinematic mode, has a portrait mode, you can use it to make thumbnails. It's so simple. And when I started to realize, even though I have an Osmo Pocket 3 and I love this camera, but when I started to realize on how simple it is to just turn the camera and it could be any camera. These cameras are great. When I started to realize how simple it was to just do this and just talk about how I feel and talk about some challenges, you can literally make anything content. It's just on how you strategize and create. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's tons of videos that are done on YouTube the same way, the same title, the same this, the same that, but it's your creative direction that brings people in. They want you. They don't want to see, they saw Mr. Beast already. They saw PewDiePie. They saw MKBHD do a review for the iPhone 16 Pro. They want to see your experience on it because they already know what to expect with those highly produced videos. And don't get me wrong, there's times where I want to watch that. But for you to get started to make it there, you got to continue to create these videos. You got to let me re-say that. You got to continue to create these videos to get better. Like in a previous time, I would have wanted to edit that part out. But you know what? I make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. And that's what it is. You just need this. You just need this. And there's going to be times where, you're going to focus on the short term. I need you to focus on the long term. Long term, you're going to get better. You're going to get a better camera. You're going to come up with better titles. You're going to add better music. Sometimes I use the same music. You don't have to try and complicate this. You don't have to complicate it. You just have to just be genuine and prioritize the content that people actually want to watch. And that's the real. People want to see the real. All that stuff about fluff, when I go on YouTube, I want to consume content that's realistic, not something that's like overly produced. I may want to consume because I'm into tech. I may want to consume a tech video about a new phone or a new product that has not been seen. But The realness is what's gonna make it easier for you to get to that point where you're doing those overly produced videos. I'm telling y'all, you just have to just branch out to interests that are important to you. If you do that, this whole process will become easy. You know, like I said, you want to be real, you want to provide value, you want to be consistent, and you want to use strategy based on all those things you do before. So if you do a couple of videos and you're being real and you're providing value and you're consistent, now once you get a couple of reps in, you're going to use that to then adjust how you decide where your niche is. Or listen, pick your niche, do whatever it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? But the idea is just to grab this. You want to use this. You want to use this to just create the videos. I'm telling you right now, it's not harder than that. It's that easy. And I want to rephrase that. It's that simple, because it's not easy. Talking to a camera, there's people probably looking around me like, yo, this guy is just talking to himself because I got my phone in my hand. But listen, forget all that. Turn this on and create those videos. I know I'm being redundant here, but I want you to understand that it's that simple. You know, it's that simple. Hold on, let me put my ND filter a little. Here we go, so y'all can see me. It's that simple. Y'all just need to just telling you. You all are good at something. Use this to create the video and document that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna make it any more long-winded than that. But it's that simple. I know I'm kind of being a dead horse here, but I want y'all comment down below if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Comment consistency. Tell me that you are what you're working on. Tell me what you're trying to do. Tell me if you started or stopped, or, you know, I've been there. My first video was in June of last year, and then I got focused again in January of this year. And it's hard. But listen, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I'm telling you, I appreciate you. Comment consistency down below, or tell me something that you're working on. Tell me if you started YouTube. Tell me where you're at, because I need to get motivated. I need motivation from y'all. Y'all keep me motivated. I appreciate y'all. As always, take care of yourselves. Peace.